is Georgi, and I will be today the co-host / co-moderator of the webinar of studying computational sciences in Germany. Another very interesting topic from my perspective, and I could see from the sign-up rate that it was not only my perspective. I'm happy to see that there's so much interest in this topic, and I am sure that you will enjoy today's webinar. So you can see that I'm not alone, and we have some special guests for today's webinar. I will introduce them shortly, and I will give them the floor very soon. Just bear with me for a couple of minutes, and we will move to the most important part of our webinar. But before we do that, let me share with you my short presentation that I prepared for you. I will introduce MyGermanUniversity shortly, some things about studying in Germany, and then we can move to the main part. So, as I said, we are talking today about computational science in Germany, and who is behind this webinar. It is MyGermanUniversity. So for those who don't know yet who we are, so we are Germany's largest database of English taught study programs. When you go to our webpage of mygermanuniversity.com, you'll be able to find over 2,400 programs, degree programs, English taught study programs, not only on bachelor level, but also on master level. Also on the left-hand side, you can see a small excerpt of our study finder. And you can see that in addition to bachelor and master, we also added some courses like short courses and language courses, which you can find on our database. So to put it simply, our main mission is to help international students like you on their way towards studying in Germany. And our study finder is actually one of the key ways of doing so. You can see the small excerpt of the study finder, as I said, but if you click on study finder, which you can see on the top left corner, you will be able to find all the filters that it has. So it has numerous filters, and which helps you to find the best fitting program for you based on your background and interest in a really quick manner. So you can even find, for example, the programs according to your IELTS or TOEFL score, which is really cool. The second way of helping you is through writing up articles. We have over 70 comprehensive articles, and the topics are really various. We have articles on rankings, on scholarships, on technical universities, on UniAssist, so etc., etc. You can see on the left-hand side that we have some navigator, but you can also type in any interested topic, and it will show you the relevant articles. And we addressed some topics really in depth. And yeah, I would strongly suggest for those who are interested in one of those topics, just read the articles in addition to attending the webinar. It will be really informative for you. Last but not least, the third way of helping potential students are our webinars. So we have approximately 150 webinars per year, but it's a bit outdated. I think we have more now because in addition to the webinars, we have also some different types of meetings, like only meetings, not only webinars. So, and you can see all of them, which are already planned. Again, on mygermanuniversity.com, you go to the webinar sections and you can sign up for these webinars, which are of great interest to you for free. And by the way, you can just for free also create an account, and then you will unlock more of the options that we are offering to students. And it's all for free, as I said. And for the webinars, yeah, the topics also are different: scholarships, visa, application strategies, or subject webinars like the one that we have today, where we have guests from different German universities, and they talk about relevant subjects. And about us, we are based in Hamburg, Germany, but we are all over Germany and also all over the world, I would say, because some of our teammates are based in China, some in Brazil, some in Spain. So we are all around the world, and we are counseling in different languages, ranging from English even to Georgian. All right, that was about MyGermanUniversity shortly. And now let me introduce to you our agenda, our special guests, as you can see, from two German universities, from Technische Universität Braunschweig and also Universität Duisburg-Essen. We have Professor Dr. Ralf Jänicke, Ms. Annika Kleinwächter, and also Dr. Alexander Schwarz, who will present relevant programs on the master's level. I will introduce them also once again, one by one shortly, but let me tell you some things before I do that. So for those who are interested more in English taught, in German taught study programs, then I would say also check out Hochschulkompass, because there you'll be able to find some of the programs relevant to this subject, but mostly in German language. But for those who are interested more on English taught study programs, then MyGermanUniversity and our study finder should be your stop, definitely, because there we have much more programs in English level, and you can see also the drop down. For example, there's 2 bachelor level programs, and all of them are completely in English, meaning that you don't need any knowledge of any other language. I'm talking about German in this case. And then also master level programs, and also most of them are English only, or at least mostly in English. So for those who are not sure yet, who are the beginners more or less in this regard and don't know about computational sciences or what to expect from these programs or this subject studying this in Germany, you can go to our subject pages, which we have for each subject, and you can see what are the rankings of universities offering these kind of programs, what are the tuition fee ranges that you would expect, or different requirements for application, etc., etc. So it will be really good to lay the basis to what you should expect from Germany when you want to study this subject here. Our tip while searching for the right program is that don't be guided only by things like rankings or city names, because I can also always hear that I want to study in Berlin or I want to study in Munich because they offer really great programs. Of course, they do, but in Germany, there are many more cities and towns which have great universities offering great programs. So keep that in mind when you're searching for the programs. Otherwise, you'll miss lots of programs that might be even the better fit for you. And also one more thing that I want you to know is that there are 2 types of universities that I want you to know about in Germany. So the first type of university is so-called Universität type of university. And when you go to our study finder, you can even control for that. For example, computational sciences, which are offered only by this type of universities, and you'll be able to find several programs in this subject offered by this type of universities. At the same time, there is another type of university which is called University of Applied Sciences in Germany, but in German language, it can have quite a lot of names, and you can see they're not the easiest one. Try to read them out. I will not do that right now, but if you'd like me to teach you how to do that, let me know via email. So yeah, and also you can control for that that programs offered by this type of university is also doable in our study finder. And now you would ask me, okay, Georgi, you are telling me about university and University of Applied Sciences, which I don't have in my country. What does it mean? Is there any difference I have to know about? Should I be worried about this? My short answer would be no worries about that, because main takeaway I want you to have from today is that you should know about the key difference, which is in focus from my perspective. So when it comes to Universität, the focus is on research and theory more, and with University of Applied Sciences, it's more on application and practice. But if you are more interested in the history of this division or in more details, please let me know via email also, which I will share towards the end of our webinar. Last but not least, another suggestion from our side when it comes to searching for the program, because from my perspective, finding the right program is one of the key challenges. So when you are searching for a particular program, don't be really restrictive in terms of wording, because sometimes some programs may not be named exactly like you would like to, but the actually curriculum or syllabus would be the one that will be fitting you. So play a bit more with the names, so that you are making sure that you don't miss any program that actually might be the best fit for you. All right, so this was all from my side, some suggestions, some information that I hope will be useful. But now we are moving to the most important part and interesting part of our webinar. We are going to Braunschweig, so the Technical University of Braunschweig, and you can see it's quite in the central north of Germany. And we have, as I said, Professor Dr. Ralf Jänicke, and who will be talking about the Master of Science program in Computational Sciences and Engineering, and he will be joined by his colleague Annika Kleinwächter. So let me stop sharing my screen here and invite our guests to the floor.
So Georgi, thanks a lot for the kind introduction. Welcome to you guys, to you students. My name is Ralf Jänicke, as already introduced, and I'm heading here the Institute of Applied Mechanics at TU Braunschweig. So I'm the guy responsible for solid mechanics and finite element methods courses And yeah, I have the pleasure to tell you something about our master program, Computational Sciences in Engineering. And as already mentioned, I'm here together with Annika Kleinwächter, who is the program director of CSE, and she's the one solving all the practical problems, in fact. So Braunschweig, yeah, that's maybe not a city you're so super well, you don't know maybe where it is and what it's about. It's, as already said, in the middle north of Germany. And what we are really proud of, that we are in the team of the TU9, so the 9 leading universities of technologies in Germany. So that's where it's sitting here, and here you see all the other ones from the TU9, so TU Munich in the south, TU Berlin in the east, RWTH Aachen in the west, and we're here very close to our friends and colleagues in Hanover. And in the beginning, before I tell you something about the course, and I think you might already have followed up a bit the material offered by MyGermanUniversity and on our webpage, let me tell you something about the practicalities of living in Braunschweig and why we believe that Braunschweig is a nice and a reasonable place to study and to live. First of all, it's super central in Germany. We are here and we have some high-speed trains crossing Braunschweig. So either by train or by car, we are very quick in many directions. If you like to go to the international airport in Frankfurt, then it's a train ride of roughly a bit less than 3 hours. Berlin and Hamburg, the other major hubs in Germany, they're also roughly 2 hours away from where we are here. And this blue guy here, that's maybe you have heard that about Germany. It's a federal state, and we have states here, and this is the state Niedersachsen or Lower Saxony in Germany. Yeah, that's Braunschweig, and it's a medieval city, actually 250,000 people living here. And the nice thing, it's not only a nice city, but it's also in a very nice environment and surrounding. So just 60 kilometers south of here, there's a very nice mountain region. It's called Harz. The highest mountain tip is about 1,100 meters. And that's so our favorite place for spending the time we're not spending with studying and doing research and teaching. That's where we can go for hiking in the winter. You can go cross-country skiing or downhill skiing and many other activities. Or if you're lazy, you can even take the steam train up to this mountain tip. And if you're lucky, then you might also see some witches flying around this mountain tip. At least that's the saying, that in the night from the 30th of April to 1st of May, all the witches, they fly to this mountain tip of Brocken. Yeah, and now it's a bit fast. Maybe I go back to give you a chance to see what I would like to show you. That's where we are. That's our main campus. It's pretty close to the city center. And actually, it's just a 50 minutes walk from the campus to the city center, which you see here. And yeah, it's a very, very nice, not too big city, and you can do everything. The favorite way of doing it here is, of course, you can use public transport. You don't need a car, definitely, but you have to have a bike here. That's how the people in Braunschweig move from one point to the next. Or, of course, you also can walk everywhere. And that's how it looks. It's a medieval city, actually. At least the city center is medieval, of course. It has been developed over the centuries. That's the central square in the city center, and in the background you see the medieval cathedral. On the left, that looks like a medieval castle. Actually, it's from the 19th century, and in front of that, that's how it looks in the time before Christmas. So that's the Christmas markets with all the lights, and then in the evenings it will typically be more crowded, actually. Another very important thing which is here on this square, that's the line of Braunschweig. So you will see many lines here in Braunschweig. Also here, if you look, the sign of the university is full of lines. So this is dating back to the old dukes of Braunschweig, also from medieval times. And actually, this is still present, this history, in the city center. So later on, the dukes, they moved into a more up-to-date castle. And nowadays, that's a shopping mall. And But of course, there are also more modern parts of the city. Here, for instance, that's by US architect the Ritzy House, in Braunschweig. And what is quite nice and cute, there's a river flowing just around the city center. The river is called Oka, where you can rent out some boats to do some paddling, or you can also rent out such type of boat where you can have a barbecue on the river. And that's pretty much in the city center. So we really like living here. And there are many other things in the surrounding. We have, of course, a theater. We have a museum, or many museums here, actually. There's a beach, unfortunately no sea, but at least the river banks and the sandy beach. And yeah, I think it's quite nice and easy to spend a nice time here. And that's actually how it looks in our campus. Obviously, that's more from the pandemic times where there are not so many students around at the campus. Nowadays, it's luckily crowded again. No restrictions anymore left. So all teaching takes place as regular. And we believe that's very important to come into touch and to meet colleagues and peers, and also the teachers, of course. Yeah, some more insights to the university. That's our Audimax, so the largest lecture hall. And here, to have an idea, that's the soccer stadium in Braunschweig. Actually, this was the welcome party for the first year's students 2 years ago, just prior to the pandemic. That's how it will be again in autumn, or from autumn on, hopefully. If you like to have it more silent, then you can opt for the library, sitting and working there. Yeah, some remarks on the living conditions of all, because I think that's very important to have some ideas about what to expect when it comes to living expenses. That's the situation comparison of all the TU9 cities. And here there's also a diagram. The more blue it is, the more expensive are the living expenses, or the higher are the living expenses. Then, of course, then we see here that there's some gradient from south to north. And here, that's Braunschweig in this light red area here. So you see the living expenses, they're pretty moderate still, have been increasing, but still moderate in Braunschweig. And if you compare it to the gross domestic income in that region, which we consider somehow to be representative for the average income situation, of course, then we are pretty much to the left. Again, blue means high numbers and red means low numbers. So you see Braunschweig is here, and our neighboring city Wolfsburg, that's even very far to the left. The reason is clear. That's the city where Volkswagen has his all these facilities, and many people living there are employed by Volkswagen and have very good salaries, actually. So overall, there seems to be a very good trade-off between the income situation and living expenses compared to many other hubs in Germany. And at the same time, this is maybe not so well known, that the area and the surrounding here is also very active research, has a very active research environment. So it is one of the leading research regions in the European Union. And this is, of course, not only driven by the universities, but it's majorly driven also by industry, not the least Volkswagen suppliers, but also airspace industry and many others. So Braunschweig is a bit surprising if you haven't heard about that before. It's one of the leading hubs in Europe even. But coming closer to universities now, and of course then later on also to the master program, Braunschweig is not the only research unit in the University of Technology is not the only research unit in Braunschweig. There are many others, like Physikalisch-Technische Bundesanstalt, for instance. So this is the state institution which are majorly controlling, for instance, the time in Germany. So they're doing fundamental research on making fine measurements, metrology actually, which is another one which has been very important was this Helmholtz Center for Infectious Diseases, very active during the pandemic in the past years. And then coming closer to engineering, which is our main area, of course, is the German Aerospace Agency and Fraunhofer Institutes here. History, let me be very quick. So the university is dating back to the 18th century. And then the big step was some 60 years ago, no, 50 actually, about rebranding the university at University of Technology, or in German Technische Universität. And then in 2006, TU9 was established. And we, as I already said, we're very proud of being part of that. And that means just recently we had our 275th anniversary at TU Braunschweig. Overall, the university is medium-sized. We have something like close to 20,000 students, an average some 3,000 to 4,000 students starting each year. We are organized in 120 institutes and altogether, let's say 2,000 to 2,500 researchers working at TU Braunschweig. The structure is that we are having here 6 faculties, which is first Carl Friedrich Gauss faculty for math in particular, but also computer science, life sciences, architecture, civil environment, and environmental engineering. We have mechanical engineering, we have electrical engineering and physics, and finally humanities and education. And CSE is an engineering track. So obviously we will be mostly involved in mechanical and civil engineering together with math and computer science. The research focus at TU Braunschweig has 4 major activities. The first one is mobility, so everything around cars and airspace industry. Metrology, these super high resolution measurements, as already said, then infections and therapeutics, and future cities. And you already can recognize for engineering, this mobility thing and the future cities are most of highest interest. Future cities comprises many activities in the direction of civil and environmental engineering. Yeah, but finally, we end up also with our master program, CSE, Computational Science and Engineering. And I would like really to highlight the word engineering at that point. That's our focus, engineering, and building up a landscape around that. Overall, it's an interdisciplinary master program together with mathematics and computer sciences. It's taught mostly in English, but still it has a very strong bilingual concept. I think that's very special in what we are doing here. I will come back to that later. We are involved in many innovative applications in the core research areas that I just showed. We organize the contact with the students via mentoring concept. That means that each student has a researcher or teacher as a mentor to supervise, but also to guide, to get guidance through the course program and for the personal development. And other than that, everything is pretty flexible when it comes to this different specialization areas, which I have put here on the right-hand side, which is distributed across the engineering disciplines, electrical, civil, and also environmental, mechanical engineering, and computational mathematics. Altogether, we are having each year 40 to 50 students starting. And after that, if you finalize your master degree in CSE, you're ready to disembark for many interesting jobs and careers in industry and also academia. When it comes to development of new technologies, you will be very strong in interdisciplinary teams, and in particular, you will be qualified for the German labor market, where the German language, in particular in the engineering disciplines, is still very important. Of course, it's very good to be fluent in English, but many things that are located in Germany, the German is super beneficial to be strong and close to fluent at least. And of course, another way is also to carry out independent research in becoming a PhD student, actually. And here, maybe you have an idea about some companies where our people have ended, or maybe one should say started their career, leading companies in Europe, but also beyond Europe. The structure of the CSE program, it's a 2 years master program, which means 120 credit points. And it's split in or organized in different areas. First, it starts with the foundation, the basic core courses, which means foundation in natural and engineering sciences, math and computational science. And if you proceed in the program, you will have more chances to elect and to specialize, and everything is ending then with the master thesis. In parallel to these courses, you will be you have to follow, or you have to also the opportunity to follow German language courses, because that's another very important aspect of the training program, that you will end up with the DSH certificate after 1.5 years. So after 3 semesters, after 3 terms, that will qualify you to start a career in the German labor market. Some practicalities. Entry requirements is, of course, that you have a bachelor degrees, typically in engineering science, natural science, math, or computer science, and a strong interest in engineering, of course. Language requirements upon admission is that you're, of course, you need to be able to communicate in English, which means B2, C1. You will need the DSH certificate, but not on entry, but after 3 semesters or 3 terms, which means in practice that if you apply, you need to have completed A1, and upon arrival and upon starting the master program, you need to prove level A2. Application period for EU residents, that's from January to July, and for non-EU residents, it's January to March. By that, I hope you got many information that you needed. You can, of course, contact us via our webpage, where you can find all relevant information. And we are also looking forward for your questions right now during this session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Professor, for a really comprehensive presentation. And thanks also for this really nice historical introduction. It was funny also to know about this, which is, I will definitely try to visit that place to see whether it's true or not. So thank you very much. And we also received quite a lot of questions already, but Annika is doing a great job already answering them. Thank you for that as well. All right, and then, yeah, as I said, I will collect the questions and we'll address them towards the end. But now let me move forward and introduce to you our next guest from University of Duisburg-Essen. And you can see that we moved much more into the west of Germany, almost reaching Netherlands and Belgium. Dr. Alexander Schwarz is our guest, and he will talk about Master of Science program in International Master of Computational Mechanics. So, yeah, let me stop sharing the screen and invite Dr. Schwarz to the floor.
Yes, thank you for the introducing words. I want to talk about computational mechanics. This is a master course. I am the course coordinator, I think now for 10 years. As you already told the audience, we are located in the west of Germany and nearby to the international airport of Düsseldorf, and of course to others. So I think that the public transport in Germany is I think it's very, very good. Okay, before we start, we start here with an image movie, and you will see that it will be maybe 5 years old. You will see this in 1 minute. The basis of computer-based simulations is a fundamental concept consisting of continuum mechanical modeling, numerical approaches, and also experimental techniques. These concepts could be understood as computational mechanics. Nowadays, engineering requires a deep understanding of fundamentals in the area of computational mechanics.
the greatest advantages in computational mechanics is the widespread of topics that you cover, such as solid mechanics and fluid dynamics. After I finished my master thesis, I had the opportunity to have a semester aboard at UC Berkeley. This was possible due to the good connections between the professors also here at the UDE.
I'm Kavita. I'm studying at Duisburg-Essen. I'm doing my master's in computational mechanics. I'm working also as a research assistant, and the best part of it, I can apply the theoretical knowledge at my work directly. Why Germany? It's new culture, nice people, and free education. That's a complete package.
While doing Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering in University of Pune, I was always interested in solid mechanics. While searching for a master course worldwide, I came across the Computational Mechanics master course in University of Duisburg-Essen. In the third semester of my master course, I got an opportunity to join as a research assistant. There, I completed my master thesis, and now I am really happy to continue my PhD there.
So, okay, let's start here again with the university. So our university was founded in 2003, and it comes from the formerly University of Duisburg and of the University of Essen. So we have a campus in Duisburg and one in Essen. And the courses are for the computational mechanics master course are on both campus. And we have a bus transfer, so it's free, and the bus transfer is approximately 30 minutes. You see some impressions. The left down, this is Duisburg, and the right upper case, this is Essen. So we are more or less larger university. We have 40,000 or 41,000 students, and thereof approximately 20% are international students. We have 6,000 employees and 12 faculties. So we have a faculty of engineering. That means in our faculty, we have mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and some other courses. And inside of this faculty of engineering, we have the international master course. So that means not only computational mechanics, we have an international so-called master program, international studies in engineering. And there are, I think, a couple of master courses which are all open for international students. So also mechanical engineering and other things. But we are talking today about the master course of computational mechanics. So what is computational mechanics? So we have here this word computational mechanics. You will find this also as computational engineering and or other words. It's a cross-linking by a combination of some things. So theoretical concepts, numerical treatments, in our case also experimental things. We have also experiments included. Most important thing is, of course, the use of computer-assisted strategies regarding the problems. We are making computer simulations, and these are related to many, many things which are important for the German industry, like mechanical engineering and also these things. Here, one special down below, and we see here something what is computational mechanics at the end. You can see here something in blue. This is the water, or let's say the velocity of water. It's something in green, this is solid. And when the water starts to flowing around this cylinder, as we can see here, then you see in the upper two fields a drag and a lift coefficient. So these are forces. And as the velocity gets higher and higher, you see here Kalman vortex street, and you see also the drift, the drag coefficient is evolving. And on the right side below, you see the flag. So there's nothing else. This is fluid structure interaction. And the most important message here is this is not done by Abacus or ANSYS. This was done by my PhD Solvay, and she will submit her PhD thesis actually tomorrow. And these are newly developed mixed finite elements. And therefore, for example, she also does computational mechanics master course before and then followed up with a PhD. The course itself may be similar like in Braunschweig. So we have very important application is possible in summer and winter. We have no strict deadlines, so you can apply all over the year. It's good to do it maybe more early than late, but anyhow, you can take part in this course. So the application all over the year. We have 120 credits, some of them in mentoring modules. I will show them in 1 minute, some in elective modules, and also at the end, we have the master thesis with 30 credits. Our course is roundabout, so depends on the year, but actually I think so 140 students. So if we go, for example, in the start with a fall semester, we see here, of course, the first semester is then the winter semester. You see the blue color is mandatory courses, so tensor calculus, continuum mechanics, introduction to numerical methods, which is given from the mathematical faculty, and computer languages for engineers. It's very important that when you start, we are working with computers all the day, that you are able to code, to produce code in different languages. And for example, here in the first semester, we do testing of metallic materials. So here we learn something about experiments. In the second semester, we have finite element foundations, which is my course, which is given by me, and thermodynamics of materials. And then you see here in green, these are the electives. And here it's very important. So two things are very important. As you will see at the end of the course, I will show you some of the electives or how to find the electives. It's very important that you could choose, if you want, 12 credits from the whole faculty. That means we have a catalog, so computational mechanics catalog, where we have different courses which we think which is important. But if you say, no, I'm very interested in a special course of mechanical engineering, for example, or civil engineering, you are able to choose them freely. As you see also here, alternative, you can move testing of materials into the third semester, and then you move, for example, here from the third semester, the soft skills in the first semester. So from the third in the first semester, this is due to the fact that these are normally our language courses. So our entry is not A2, it's B2 already. This is due to the fact, maybe you will say, okay, that's quite hard, but at the end, the payoff, so most of our students are doing master thesis at big German companies, and their German is very important. And for example, you can apply with B1, and then you can use these special soft skills courses for your language courses. And then, yes, I think it's a good thing at the end, and the students are reporting to me that it's very, very good at the end if you do master thesis outside. So, for example, due to master course, it's not that important. Of course, some of the electives are in German. If you want to have a German course, the mandatory courses are all given in English. If we start in the spring semester, then it would look like this. The spring semester, of course, is summer semester. Then you will start here with finite element foundation, computer languages for engineers. This will be given in both, so in winter and in summer semesters. You can start directly with the with elective modules if you want, and of course, again here the soft skills are located in then your first semester. Yes, the follow-up is of course similar. So the courses are changed a little bit. For example, in the second semester, so in the winter semester, you can directly come over to nonlinear finite element, which is also a course of mine. And yeah, of course, if you have the foundation before, then it should be possible. And then in the third semester, you have only one mandatory, and then you go over to the master thesis. And we have, since I told you before, we have a special program, and this special program, we have a special task force, let's say task force, it's SKY, Support Center for International Engineering Students. And this team is always, you can contact them always for nearly each problem. So that means these are available for all of these international master and bachelor courses, and you can here find information about change of the degree. So you can switch, for example, if you start with computational mechanics and say, ooh, maybe it's too hard or not hard enough, you can choose to switch to mechanical or vice versa. And you will see different informations about hostels and, for example, sample notice of apartment termination and all these things, and scholarships and so. And of course, all other problems are directly solved by the team of Frank Schwarz, and it's very, very, very good. So they have really find information and solution for problems. So the last point here is the so-called Veranstaltungsdatenbank. This is the module database. And here you find, again, very, very, very broad information about all these things. And in order to show that to you what it means, I will skip to this page. No, not this. So, and here we are at this module database. For example, if you want to see how it works, you find here, for example, the courses. That means here you can go to study course, and you will find then here all the courses which are given by the Faculty of Engineering. And of course, we are interested then here in computational mechanics. It is here down below, and here really all courses of engineering. And here you see then again the setup for a semester. And for example, if you are interested, then here, for example, in Final Element Foundation, you can go over there. You find all information about exam, about the lecturer, about the learning targets and all these things. And these are possible, of course, for all of these courses. That means not only the mandatory courses, you will find also some information about the elective, and these are given here. Here, for example, these are actually the electives of computational mechanics. So I'm very interested, you are maybe interested in concrete. For example, you have a civil engineering degree, then you are maybe interested in that, or for example, if you have multi-body dynamics, is more related to mechanical engineering. And again, if you want to see what's behind that, you can click on that and find the lecturer, the assigned person here, in this case, Mr. Keshkemeti from Duisburg, and all other information. And of course, if you, for example, search for persons, you are interested, you know, for example, to see if you want to know what I'm responsible for, then click on my page, and then you will see these are my assigned modules. Okay, so I think this is self-contained. It's a very good page. You will find all information if you search for special elective. And now I'm ready. I'm trying to answer your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dr. Schwarz, for a wonderful presentation. And yeah, we can actually already jump into the questions. I collected some and we can address it already. So I will start with a question that is for both of you, because I've also received several throughout the webinar via email. So let me read out one of them. If I don't have my final degree yet and I'm in the last semester, can I still apply for the program and provide the final diploma later or not? So let's start maybe with Dr. Schwarz.
No, this is not possible. You need your final degree, so you need your certificate.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. And Professor Jänicke?
I would leave that to Annika.
Okay.
I was afraid you were going to say that because I was looking for something else. Please, can you tell me what degree the certificate at what point?
So yeah, the student is in the final semester.
Yeah.
And she is finalizing her studies. That's why she doesn't have a degree yet. Can she still apply and then provide the degree later?
Yes, she may. So what we go by is the latest transcript, and then she will have to provide the degree certificate latest at the 31st of March after starting the degree program. So, you know, we always start on winter semester. So that would be the following March, she would have to provide the degree certificate, the original. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Another question that I've just saw in the chat, let me address also to both of you, is maybe this person joined a bit later. So are the programs, both of the programs, for 2 years in total, or it's different? Yes, let's start maybe with Annika. Sure, it's set up for 2 years, but the German university system also leaves opportunities to take longer or not as long. So depending on your personal interest and how fast or you study, if you work as alongside of studying, etc., the individual development is very different. So let me also be honest here and say that if you don't have your German language requirement in place, more than likely it's going to take you 1 to 2 semesters longer because you're going to have to focus on that German.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. Dr. Schwarz?
Yes, so in Germany, we call this Regelstudienzeit. So it's outlined for 2 years, 4 semester. And of course, depending on you, if you want to travel through Germany or have some fun, then it maybe takes 5 or 6 semester. And if you are quite, I know also students who do it or did it in 3 semesters. So
okay. Okay, thank you very much. And now let's move to a question which is, for Braunschweig. It was specific for Braunschweig because actually it's not one question, but I have received lots of questions about the background information. Okay, so I have a bachelor on civil engineering. I have a bachelor in this and that. What are the restrictions? Could you just once again outline who are the ones with what kind of bachelors the students would be accepted for the masters in your program?
Maybe Annika, just start and you can comment on what I'm saying. So this is not, there's no sharp definition, but of course with a bachelor from engineering civil, from the classical engineering tracks like civil or mechanical or electrical engineering, that's in our core focus area, but also it's possible to enter with a bachelor in math or computer science. Important is then to be interested in apply those techniques we teach to engineering problems. So it's not a pure data science course, for instance, and not a pure math course, even though we have specialization in computation math, for instance, but it's an engineering program.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
May I add to that?
Sure.
So one of the things, just that, like Ralf said, is important is that it's a very individual decision. So if you come with a degree, and also degrees are so different worldwide. So if you come with a degree, you can look at our admissions regulations. In the end, the last page is going to give you a good idea how you get points in order to get admission. And there you can see where the focus lies. And if you can provide that focus with classes or maybe through internships, etc., work experience, whatever the case may be, you will still be able to get access. And we do not have, what do you call Auflagen? Conditions, there we are. I'm like totally blank there, sorry about that. So we do not admit with admissions. So either we admit you to the program and the admissions, the condition is maybe language, but we don't admit with conditions regarding to subject matter.
Okay. Really comprehensive answer from both our guests. Thank you very much. Now let me move to the question specifically for Dr. Schwarz. So the question was, could you please share with us what are the deadlines for EU and non-EU students and whether the application period is open? So, yeah.
The application period for master students is continually open. You can apply whenever you want. So of course, for your own schedule, you can say, okay, I take it 15th of July, I should make the application and I make the visa and so on. But at the end, there is no deadline. You can apply around the clock.
That's great to know. Thank you very much. This brings me to a question to both of you. And it is connected again with the application stuff. So when will be the admission results announced after the application? So when I will know that I am here or I am out. Let's continue with you, Dr. Schwarz, and then I will ask someone from Braunschweig.
It will be published continuously. So that means we have you will apply online at the international office, and then there is a person, Miss Sandra Beach, and she's providing all the informations together, and then they give the data to me, and then I do this, I think once a week. I go through all the applications, and then I reply her, and then you get, so it's continuously. There's no special date. So okay. maybe it took, depend on some things, maybe 3 months or 2 months, but there's no certain date or something like that.
Okay, thank you for sharing this with us. Annika or Professor Jänicke?
Should I go? Okay, so we have two deadlines, one for EU citizens or residents and one for non-EU residents. The non-EU residents can apply 1st of January till 15th of March, and they get the results around mid-May-ish. For EU residents, it's the July 15th, and it's around mid-late August-ish, depending on how fast we can process everything and how many people apply. And some are surprised because I say residents, so sometimes we have applicants who have an international non-EU passport, so to speak, but they already reside in Germany, and the difference in application deadline is only a visa question, nothing else. So if you already hold a visa that allows you to study in Germany, you can apply for the EU deadline, and otherwise it's the non-EU deadline. It's just that.
Yeah, that's really important to mention. Thank you very much for bringing this up. Yeah, this is critical to know. Thanks a lot. Then next question, also to Braunschweig. So take into account that the COVID situation is better. Despite that, is it still possible to do some of the courses or some part of the course online, or it should be face-to-face?
Like maybe I just start responding to that, and this is pretty individual and depends on the teacher. Actually, right now there are no limitations, and that's up to the teachers to decide what to do. What is a consequence of a good consequence of the pandemic, that everyone has become more flexible in that. So in that sense, we believe that's important for face-to-face teaching, but next to that, or aside with that, comes more and more offers to follow the course online in this or that way, by videos or by hybrid formats and so on. But this is individual on the teachers. Overall, it's not uncommon that in particular for those, the bachelor start typically in October in our case, and it happens sometimes with the visa regulations that people are not in the place yet when the courses start, for some delays. And there it's quite common that people enter the courses a bit later, and the teachers provide materials, but that depends on the teachers. There is no overall rule how this works.
Okay, yeah. Thanks a lot. Actually, this question was also for Dr. Schwarz as well, because the two programs were written here. So is it possible also in your case to do courses online?
Yes, indeed. The University of Duisburg-Essen is since the last winter semester complete in presence. But as Ralf already mentioned, we have all the materials, videos and so. But I think, let's hope that Corona is over. I think now in the summer semester, we do everything face-to-face. Okay. But again, there are stuff like videos and all the things which are uploaded in Moodle, and you get so much information about that. But indeed, the courses are in lecture halls.
Okay, good to know. Thank you very much. So I have two last questions, one for each of you, and then we can call it a day. So let's continue with Dr. Schwarz. So is it possible to do the master thesis with a supervisor who is not a member of the university?
Yes, so that is a very good question. So it's, as I told you before in the talk, I think nearly 90% of our students, so international students, are doing master thesis at BMW, Daimler, Bosch, Siemens, and all the German companies, and also all over Germany. And there they have, of course, a local, or as I call it, a real supervisor. But at the end, they need a university supervisor. So in most cases, I'm then the university supervisor in order to get all formal paper stuff. So you need to registrate the registration, for example. The registration is done by the supervisor, so by the professor at the end, or by the teacher. And therefore you have at the end two supervisors, one at the company, and I call it real supervisor because you work together with them. And of course, there we have discussions at the beginning and in between. But at the end, this is the important one. But you need at the end for each master thesis at least one supervisor from the university side, which is somehow related to the topic. But this is at the end not a big problem. And he has to sign other university. That's not that much documents, but for example, the registration or extension or something like this.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for sharing all this information. And the last question now for Braunschweig, it's a really specific one. So what are the opportunities to start business in Hanover or generally in Niedersachsen or in Hamburg together with other graduates? What would you say, what are the opportunities?
Well, that's a tough question. That's really hard to answer because I mean, our training is pretty interdisciplinary because we are covering mechanical engineering or aspects from mechanical engineering, civil and environmental engineering, applied math, and so on. But other than that, I would say in all over Germany, of course, big business is still today also, and also we believe that will be also the case in future, the car industry with all the supplying companies. And what is the big thing here in this part of Germany, northern part of Germany, is the aircraft industry. And I think in that environment, together with all these new topics which are around like sustainability, green power, and so on, this is a very broad field. So it's really hard to say what is the major business you can make up. Maybe one thing which is brand new in a neighboring city in Magdeburg, there will be a big Intel factory, and there will be some new tech industries that are to be expected to grow there around this Intel facilities there.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So
I just shared, just want to add, I just shared a link that gives you the entrepreneurship for TU Braunschweig. If anybody's interested in that, they can check out right there what we offer, and there are points of contact as well as other information.
Great, thank you very much. That's really helpful. And yeah, in general, so the opportunities are there. You should be there also ready for this to take on these opportunities, and then everything will be fine. Okay, I promise that this will be last question, but I have just received another question, which is really nice. I want to address this. Annika is already answering it because it's, I think, generally important for students to know. So the question is, what is the minimum German grade equivalent required to get admitted into the program? Let me ask you to pose this question because it's really important. And for those who don't know what does German grade equivalent mean, to the students, I would shortly say that in Germany, everything is upside down in terms of the grades, not in other things, but in terms of the grades. So 1.0 is the best grade that you can get. And as the grade rises, it means that you are doing a bit worse. Maybe in your country it's 4.0, which is the best. And here 1.0 would be very bad for you. But here, believe me, it's really cool. So yes. Let me ask a question to Braunschweig and then also to Dr. Schwarz. Do you have actually any minimum GPA requirement?
We do not.
Great.
What we have is something called an overall grade of procedure, basically. So it's a grade that's part is, of course, the degree, the GPA or whatever you may call it. But part is also what I was mentioning in the end of the last page of our admissions regulations shows a scale, how we give points, basically. So if you can prove knowledge in certain areas, you get more points than if you don't have that knowledge, etc., etc. So it's an overall grade, and then we have a ranking, and then there is a cut, and then everybody above gets admitted, and the others get on the waiting list.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Annika. All right, Dr. Schwarz?
Yes, we have indeed such a grade, but there are, so the normal grade in normal times, let's say 5 years ago, is 2.5. But actually we have that many applicants and only small university places. This grade has to be now 2.0 for, I think, the last 4 years. Yeah. And this sounds maybe very hard if you do not pass this, but on the other side, if you pass it, I think we have now many master theses which are very, very good. And the German companies take a look at Duisburg-Essen because they know already if you have 2.0 in Germany, it's a very good grade. But actually, it depends on maybe, again, similar like in Braunschweig, at the number of the applicants. But at the end, at the moment, if you are better than 2.0, then you get admission. And of course, you can do it or not. It doesn't matter, but this is the actual case. If, for example, if the applicants go down, then if you take a look at the relations, it will be 2.5. But actual, I think we have around about 300 to 400 applications per semester. So,
okay,
not bad.
Yeah. All right. Great, thank you very much. Now I would definitely call day. It's 1 hour past exactly. Let's be punctual in this regard. So I would like to thanks our guests for being so active, for wonderful presentations, being active in the chat, answering questions comprehensively. So it really helps the students a lot. And I also find out some interesting information. I find out always interesting information from you. So yeah, thank you very much. Also for our students who joined and were so active today. It's a pleasure. If you have more questions to the program representatives, feel free to get in touch with them, because contact information, as they shared with you, where you can and how you can get in touch with them, you can do it. And if you have any general questions regarding studying in Germany, or any other topics which are generally not specific to these programs, of course, you can also send us a message. I think, okay, I will do it right now. I haven't shared it yet. So our email is also in the chat, and let us know, and we will also be happy to help you as much as we can. So, and I also shared the direct links in the chat, and it will be nice also to receive some feedback regarding today's webinar, what maybe you have some concerns, and we will take them into account for the future ones. And the links for the Facebook or Google are in the chat, and you can leave us your feedbacks there. Yeah, once again, thank you very much, and have everyone nice evening or nice day or morning, depending on where you're joining from. So bye-bye.